2, 1. Hello! Welcome to the first stream in a while today. I've got something really exciting to show everyone here. This is called the Game Booster for the PlayStation 1. And as you can tell by the weird use of the Mario 64 promotional image right there, it actually lets you play original Game Boy games and possibly Game Boy Color as well on the TV using a PlayStation 1. And on the desk over there, just behind the camera, I have my PlayStation 1. And here's the thing itself. So this is what it looks like. It has a really cheap looking label on the front here. This just says Game Booster on it. And you put your Game Boy games in the top there. And this bit here actually goes in the back of the PlayStation 1 itself. So I'm very excited to try this out. I didn't get the chance to for a long time because I didn't actually know where my PlayStation was. Until recently, I actually found it in the back of the garage. So let me get this plugged in, and while we're doing that, hello everyone who's joined me right at the start of this stream. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing very well, and I can't wait to try this out. So let's get it plugged in. And let me just switch over to the main screen. There we go. Unfortunately, the SCART cable for my PS1 is very temperamental, to say the least. So you might be able to tell that there's a little bit of like... Oh, this is something really exciting as well. I wanted to see what this was like. So it also comes with a pre-installed game, which I had no idea what it was. So I'm very excited to check this out. Hopefully you can all see and hear me okay. I don't think there's any sound coming from the system just yet, but I will go and try and fix that annoying wavy line issue. So bear with me just 1 second. I know what to do. Okay, that should fix it. Yep, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the OSSC really doesn't like this, or really doesn't like my PS1, so I have to swap it back and forth a few times before we can actually get it to work. Anyway, let's try this built-in game and see what this is like. This is called Rebound Mission, a unlicensed Game Boy game made by Daytel, and I've had a few people warning me in advance that this emulator is very slow and very laggy, so if I lose, it's not my fault, it's the fault of the emulator. So it looks like a kind of Breakout clone, but there's nothing to actually attack. Am I supposed to be throwing it at that one up there? I scored 25 points somehow. I've just got to throw it in that, I guess. This is fun. And that's it. Okay, level 2, we're moving on. Now there's 2 things that can catch a ball. And you can just move out of the way in case it does come back to hit you. So did anyone actually know that the PS1 could play Game Boy games? I did post it on Twitter earlier, and there was a lot of people very surprised to see that this even exists in the first place. And I did do a video on the PS2 one last year, maybe the year before, which is pretty interesting too. There doesn't really seem to be much gameplay to this one though. Although it is really interesting to find a proper Game Boy game that was made back when the Game Boy was new, that probably, I'd say 99% of people who collect for the Game Boy have no idea that this game even exists. I don't know whether it was included on any of the other Daytel like Game Boy collections or anything. It might be on the N64 one as well, and I would love to try and get that at some point. So there was an N64 version of this by Daytel that lets you play Game Boy games on the 64. And they also brought one out on the GameCube too. It was it actually plugged into the memory card slot on the GameCube, which is really interesting. And again, I would love to try and get that. I've only got this one and the PS2 one currently. I think it'd be a really interesting video, though, if I could manage to track down all of the different, what would you call them, third party, unofficial ways of playing Game Boy games. I know there's quite a few out there. I wonder if there's any for any Sega consoles. I've not seen any. They all seem to either be for Nintendo or PlayStation. And this game is extremely easy. Nothing really seems to be posing much of a challenge. Whoa, that one almost did. Almost. And I've got a bunch of games back there that I want to test out on this as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it handles all different kinds of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games and stuff. And you know me, I'll throw a few homebrew games in there too and see what happens. But I am kind of curious as to how far this goes. Oh, that's pretty cool. It got stuck on the other side. The birds act in exactly the same way as that paddle thing. And I can't get to it now. Out the way. There we go. But how's everyone been anyway? It's been 2 weeks since I streamed last. I was really hoping that this month I'd be able to stream once a week, but I've just been too busy. But somehow I've managed to make videos without taking a break for a while, so that's good. Now I've got something firing back at me. Whoa, level 11. This level kind of reminds me of Pang, except you can't actually pop the bubbles. And I'm going to maybe cut this stream a little bit short because me and my girlfriend do want to play Resident Evil 4 Remake, which we got the other day, but we haven't really had a chance to play it at all yet, so hopefully tonight we'll be able to get an hour or so. But I wanted to come and do this first. And I might do a video on this. I haven't quite decided yet, so I don't really know whether that's something anyone would be interested in seeing. But I might do, or I might just do a pickups video. I haven't really decided just yet. Hey, Gion, how's things? Thanks for dropping by. Yes, my streams get weirder and weirder as the weeks go on. This is like this is a built-in. Can I pause it? It's a built-in game on this cartridge here, which I showed off at the start. If you missed it, it's for the PlayStation 1, and apparently it lets you play Game Boy games and maybe Game Boy Color games. But this is what happens if you boot it up without anything inserted. So I just wanted to see what this was like. And yeah, this is quite possibly the deepest cut Game Boy game that there possibly can be. So I'm kind of excited to play it, even though it's very simple. But it's not awful. I am having a little bit of fun with it, at least. Slightly. It is very slow. I wonder whether this is the emulator being slow. It's competently programmed, I guess. Level 15 now. But nothing seems to really change between the levels. Or nothing much, at least. The only thing you need to worry about is if the ball bounces off something. This one's getting harder because they're more common. They're coming across the screen more often. So there's a little bit of timing involved on this stage, I guess. Oh, it keeps going. I thought that might be the last one. I wonder how many stages there are. Maybe 20? Let's see how far we can get. It'd be really interesting if this has actually been dumped online or not, because I've never really looked this game up. I didn't really know it existed until today. It's called Rebound Mission. Hey, if anyone watching is kind of bored, Google Rebound Mission Game Boy for me and see whether it's been dumped online or anything. Or see if there was ever any cartridge release of this. Maybe there was in like Thailand or something on one of those fake game cartridges. Then I would have to try and track that down as well. First time joining the stream. Hello. I'm glad you've been enjoying the channel too. I kind of sounded a bit like Ashens then, didn't I? Hello. I did it badly that time. Anyway, yeah, thanks. Thanks for dropping by. Pretty weird stream today. I haven't done it in a while. I'm aiming to do a stream every week, but I don't really think that that's feasible at the minute, especially with all the other things that I want to do as well. So maybe once every 2 weeks would be a better plan. And I can make more podcasts that way as well. I just want to make things like all the time, constantly, and I always struggle. I don't know why. It's like some weird obsession that I've got where I just want to always be creating things. Hey, someone else just joined. There we go. I'll pause it so I can read it. It's rare for me to join the streams too. Hi. Hello. Thanks for joining. Thank you for taking the time out of your... I don't even know what day it is. Monday? Tuesday? Thanks for taking the time out of your 28th of March to watch me play this awful game. You must be very bored. Well, no. I do appreciate it. Thank you. And hopefully this is kind of interesting. We're on level 20 now. I thought this might be the last one. We shall see. So what's everyone been playing recently? I was saying earlier that I'm planning to play the Resi 4 remake after this. A bit later on tonight. Oh my god, this is going to be annoying. There's too many birds. It's an irresistible title, yes. Maybe I will make a YouTube video on this then, after all. Oh no, I'm down to my last life. And yeah, after this we'll be checking out some actual PS1 games. No, not PS1 games. Some actual Game Boy games. Oh, it keeps going. Level 21. I don't know how many more I can suffer through. Let's get up to 25 then, maybe. Hey, Canto Bound. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Were you happy that I gave you a note on Tumblr? I always forget that that site exists. I should try and use it more. You finished Trails of Cold Steel 2. Wow. That's a big game. I really want to try playing the Trails games, but they're just so long. Yeah, I need to start using it more. I just watched the trailer / Nintendo Direct for the new Zelda game. It looks really good. I'm so excited to see all the different weird combinations that people can come up with for stuff. It's so inventive. I knew Nintendo would do something really unique for it. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Oh my god, it keeps going. And yeah, anyone who's watching, don't worry, we will be playing some actual Game Boy games soon, although I have no idea how well they'll actually run on this. And I don't know whether this is actually going slower than it should be or not, because I don't really think this game exists anywhere outside of this random PS1 cartridge. But yeah, if anyone watching can do me a favour, can someone Google the name of this game, Rebound Mission, and see whether it actually did get released on a Game Boy cartridge at any point? No! Oh. Wait, it already said live 0. Am I on -1 now? Yeah. I would love to know whether this game actually exists or not, outside of this. Wow, it just keeps going. I'll do one more. Actually, if we... How do I open the menu? There was... Maybe you can't do it with this because it's not a proper game, but... Oh, there we go. Yeah, there is a menu as well, so we can have a quick look at this. There's a cheats option, which I'm guessing is Game Genie cheats. There's a whole bunch of built-in ones as well. But I doubt there's one for... I forgot the name of this game already. But we can try them in a bit, that'd be interesting. There's also the trainer, which is the same as the thing that was included on the PS2 one, where you can sort of teach it what sort of things you want to basically cheat. So if your life goes down or anything, then it can understand that and work towards it. Sparks and Zeros, hello, how are you? And then there's palettes. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. Is this like Super Game Boy style? I don't really seem to have much in the way of interactivity. I just seem to be rubbing parts of the screen out. Yeah, I haven't heard any audio from anything yet. I also don't know how to select the paint here. Oh, there we go. Oh, cool. It's like the Super Game Boy, so you can keep clicking it and mixing all the paints together. But how do I get that on the screen? Nothing's happening. It's just painting the border white. Let's see if we can figure this out. Do I need to... Oh, okay. It is just like the Super Game Boy. And I've really messed up this screen now. So you select it on there. Let's add some red. Yeah, I'm sure there was one of these for the N64 that I had back in the day as well, and that didn't play music either. Yeah, the 4 slots. How do I clear it? I want to cancel it out. I want red. Why won't it let me add red? Do you hold it down? These colours don't make any sense. I'm holding down red and it went bright blue. Okay, it's slowly changing. Oh, okay, that's really weird. It didn't explain that at all. So when you hold X, it pulls the colour out. So if I hold X on this, it pulls all the red out of it. If I hold circle, it puts all the red in there. And then you can select it up here. Okay. It's starting to make sense now. Although I've made a really horrible colour scheme. I hope there's a way of resetting it. And there's also options here. So we have screen size, normal or large. We also have border options, but you can't actually see what they are. So that's helpful. Yeah, it actually reminds me of a Windows 3.1 sort of program in a way. We also have Super Game Boy on or off. That's cool. Video sync and frame skip. And there's something there, save backup none. And a CD player option. To play CDs. Okay, what did I actually change there? Let's try changing border to 1 and see what difference that made. Oh no, have I lost all my progress? How does a built-in game crash? This isn't even on a cartridge. Is this going to restart from the beginning? Ah, it is if I press that button. I think I lost all my progress. And I don't think the colour scheme I applied worked either. And yeah, wow, it's going really slow now. So that frame skip is definitely necessary. Right, let's try an actual game then. Let's try, if I go back on full screen cam so you can see me. I've been trying to sort out all my Game Boy games as well, so I started buying these boxes to put them in, which is definitely helping a lot, and I also want to try and organise them in this folder as well, so we've got some in here. Let's pick one that I know off by heart. No? There you go, if you wanted to see. Which way? That way. There you go. You can just about see it's in the system. That's how it looks, which is really strange. So let's see what happens, if anything. I broke it. Do I need to reset? Maybe I need to reset. Yeah, I've got a load more boxes over there full of Game Boy games too. Is it going to focus? There on the shelf at the back. And... oh, you can't see the other one because the light's in the way. Okay, it did not load. It's gone back to that rebound mission game. I know it does work because I tried it out earlier. And I managed to play Marble Madness. The screen's all flickery again. I don't want to play stupid rebound mission. Okay. It's really awkward to get it in the back of the console as well. This thing was never consistent. I do remember having games that worked fine on the Game Boy Pocket, but not this thing. Hey, there we go. It's worked this time. Although the screen's really fuzzy, but I know how to fix that, so bear with me a second. That is because this needs changing. Right. Okay, we have a stable signal. Let's try this out. Yeah, I have to keep adjusting the OSSC to get it to actually sync up properly. I don't know what the hell they actually did with this. And yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any audio at all. But let's see how it plays. I can already see a lot of, what would you say, missing frames. Oof. Oh, that is painful. Ever wanted to play a really laggy version of Mario Land that's missing half its frames in a little box on a rainbow background with inverted controls as well? So I'm holding X to run, pressing circle to jump. Pressing circle to jump just feels completely wrong. I also can't really figure out how to get that menu to come up. That menu I had up earlier with those options in. I'm pressing... I have no idea how I got that. I literally just mashed the controller. Let's try large screen size. I don't know how to get out the menu either. Okay, now it just let me reset. Wow, that is horrible. Why is full screen A, not full screen, and B, like, why is it just stretched horizontally and then there's still borders either side? And there's no scaling at all. Look at Mario's sprite. Oh my god. Wow, I think I've hit a new low for playing Game Boy games. This is hilarious. No sound. The worst quality Game Boy experience ever. This is so funny. Come by the store. This is my room in my house. I wish I had a store or, you know, some sort of studio or something. Did that make any difference? I don't know how to bring... How the hell do you bring the menu up? I'll do what I did last time. No! No! It worked. Come by the store and say hi. Oh, right. I didn't know you had a store. I thought it was just an online thing. Where is it? I would love to come and check it out. So, Border didn't do anything. And how do I exit? How do I exit the menu? It's not doing anything. Let's see how far away Rotherham is from where I am. About a 2-hour drive. That's doable. I'm in Telford, just outside Birmingham, so it's not that far away. And I do have a job up in Manchester now, and that seems closer, so maybe I could come and pay you a visit after I've had to go up there one day. Let's see, video sync. Yeah, I'd love to come and pay you a visit. That'd be cool. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty easy to get to from Birmingham as well. It's just straight up. I don't know how to exit this menu. What? Now I didn't even choose anything, but now I'm playing it on that painting screen. And the lag has like doubled as well. I can hardly control it. This has to be one of the weirdest experiences that I've had in a long time. This is so strange. I don't know what I expected, but this is even weirder than what I could have imagined. And let's see if there's any instructions in here. There was something in the box. There's a oh, this is pretty cool. Let's go back on full screen. There's this, which came in the box. Please tear off and keep for your reference. It's one of those old warranty card things with the questionnaires on them. I wonder if I sent this off to Daytel. I presume they're still there. They used to be in Stafford, right? Or Stoke or something. Stafford Road, Stone, Staffordshire. So it's not even that far from here where this was made. So that's pretty interesting. But luckily, yes, there is an instruction manual there as well. So let's have a look in here. I'm going to try out Super Game Boy. It talks about Super Game Boy in here, which is pretty cool. There was instructions for the palette editor as well. You actually want to send something off to them. I bet there's someone there who still answers the post and occasionally gets random things like that. How do I get to the options screen? It's mentioned in the options screen, but it doesn't say how to get to it. Game Booster has its own built-in game. It's great. It's a great game to play, and it has full colour, complete with a colour border. Simply switch the console on with nothing inserted. I'll try the Game Boy camera. Yeah, that'll be interesting. You know what? It's actually really weird to read the instructions for something as fake as this and to have them actually written really well in plain English because it was only made up the road from here. So usually when you open these instruction books, you kind of expect it not to make any sense. But it's actually really well written, which is really weird. There is nothing in here to tell you how to open the menu. It tells you how to use the paint parts. trying to experience it. Okay, okay. All right, I'm going to go and get the Game Boy camera. If I can find it. If I can find it. I'll put you on full screen while I'm searching. There we go. It's over there somewhere. Well, I'm not sure where it is, but I did find two other... I'm kind of off the screen there. I found a few other things that I want to try out. So these are also made by Daytel, so they should work, in theory. And I also grabbed one of the Donkey Kong games. But where is the Game Boy camera? It must be here somewhere. No. No idea where the Game Boy camera is. I kind of want to try this as well. Do you think that would actually do anything? Let's give these a bit of a shot anyway. Maybe we can try and find the Game Boy camera later. So. Right. It is going to be fuzzy, but maybe we'll just deal with it. I'm sure I had the camera fairly recently. No. I've got too much stuff everywhere. Right, is this going to load? No. Let's try a different one. I doubt much is going to work on here, really. I did put this out as well to try to see whether the EverDrive will actually do anything on that. Probably not. Nothing seems to load. Let's try again by Color Game. Okay, going to try a Game Boy Color game. I doubt it's going to do anything though. I really want to find the camera. I have no idea where it could be. I'm gonna go and have another look for it. I have no idea how it could have gone anywhere because I haven't taken it out of this room, or at least I wouldn't think so. Right, that didn't do anything. Let's try the EverDrive. Well, I'm not expecting much. Also, the bit where you put the game feels really flimsy, so I'm kind of scared of putting too much stuff in there. Weird, I just looked in all my drawers and there's no Game Boy camera either. What do you mean? Do you not go around the streets with your Game Boy camera? I did actually take it to Birmingham with me for the gaming market, which was pretty fun. I'm not getting any signal at all. Hmm. Oh no, has it died completely? No. It really didn't like the EverDrive then, it wouldn't even turn on. You should get a Game Boy camera, they're actually pretty fun to play around with. And there's loads of interesting little quirky things that you can do with it too. I used to really enjoy playing with it as a kid. I mean, I still do now to a degree. And there's actually a load of really good Instagram accounts where people actually use the Game Boy camera, like in a professional setting. And there's some really impressive results that people have managed to do on there too, which is really cool. And yeah, I just tried putting the EverDrive in and it's just completely destroyed the system. And talking of cameras, I did actually find my old camera that I used to make all my videos on the other day. So it's kind of cool to have that back again. I was thinking maybe on my second channel I can do a video about all the different cameras that I've used over the years. Right, that didn't work. Nothing seems to work. Let's try a Super Game Boy game. We've got the original Donkey Kong here. Okay, power on. And then wait a minute. We've got life. Whoa, and we've got a kind of Super Game Boy border, but parts of it are missing. Let's see if we can actually play any of this. It's kind of weird that there's no sound at all. You've literally just got me talking. Oh, I missed that. You picked up a Sony Hi8 camcorder from the charity store. That's awesome. Wow, the colours are actually really nice. And it's got my save files on there. It does seem really slow though. Wow, it seems really slow. And really juddery. Yeah. That's better. You can actually see it now a little bit. Wow, it's so slow. Put on some Game Boy OSTs for ambience. Let's see. Let's see what we can find. And hopefully I've... Epic Game Boy music. Let's try playing this one. A bit too loud. There we go. Can you hear that? Yeah, the colours actually look pretty good, actually. And although it's missing a few frames, the speed is... Actually, maybe it makes it a bit easier. Because it's... No, it definitely doesn't make it easier. I don't know what music this is recommended. Let's try this one. Castlevania Adventure. Oh, can you hear that? There you go. You should be able to hear it now. Dun, 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 dun. I wonder how many frames a second this is. This is awful. If I can figure out how to get the menu up, I'll try some of the other screen options too. Whee! See that little backflip I did? Usually with these weird Game Boy playing systems, they have built-in music. Which is like... Oh yeah, look at my DK skills! Whee! I love the movement in Donkey Kong 94. I love the fact that... Ah! I don't love it on this, though. I was about to say I love the fact that you can throw the hammers in the air. Let me show you what I mean. Because on the original, when you get a hammer, you have to wait. But on this one, you can pick the hammer up. And if it lets me, there you go. You can throw it in the air and then catch it again. Which I always thought was really cool. And they should definitely do that in the normal games. Oh no, the ladder collapsed. Definitely get this. This is quite possibly my favourite Game Boy game. It's definitely in the top 5 at least. Look at this. Whee! And then you can do a backflip from there as well to get straight up the top. It does seem like the collision detection's being a bit weird on this emulator though. Anyway, let's see how I can open the menu. Oh, it might be double tap start. No. Double tap start and select. No. Hold it down. No. A and start. No. I'm trying every button combination I can think of. Somehow I reset it back to the title. I have no idea how to get to the menu. Why is it that one thing the instructions didn't tell me? I wasn't even holding the controller then. I was holding this piece of paper. Where did it come from? Oh my god. Video sync. Let's see what that does. Will that make it any smoother? Maybe it's made it slightly faster? Oh, now we've got some Donkey Kong. That's more fitting. Donkey Kong Land. Let's find some DK94 music. There you go. This will actually fit the game. Ah! I wasn't looking. There you go. This is the right music for this stage. I think that's actually made it slower, whatever that setting was. Ever wanted to play Donkey Kong in slow motion? They did such a good job with this game. It's such a good update to the arcade game. I can do this now I've finished that one. I can skip on to the next level. There you go, here's level 2 music. Oh, it's painfully slow though. There you go. How's that for some hammer skills? I think you can hit them. Oh, you can't hit them from here. Come here! He actually just walked into my hammer. Did I make it? Yay! Just about. Right, now while this cutscene's playing out, I'll see if I can figure out how to get the menu to open. I still have no idea how I got there. And this music's droning on. Let's turn video sync off. Let's try extra frame skip, see whether that makes it any better. Oh no, that's just added more lag. This is definitely an experience anyway. The menu just seems to just come up when it feels like it. I'm trying to mash all the buttons there to bring it up. I don't really know what other options we can try. Let's try changing everything. Oh god, that looks horrible. Why is the full screen so disgusting? Look at that. Ugh. Oh my god. I think we have a contender for the worst possible way to play a Game Boy game. Is it going to come back down? No. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing it like this. I have so many better ways to play this game. Oh yeah, here's another cool thing you can do in this Donkey Kong game. You can stand on your hands and then... if you time it right, you can jump twice and get a double jump. I don't think there's any chance of me timing it right on this version. Okay, let's try a different game anyway. That was... Donkey Kong 94 in the worst possible quality ever in existence. This it basically is a form of torture. Look at it. Why am I doing this to myself? I'll go and get a game that's compatible with both colour and black and white and see how that looks. Let's try this. We should get some Mega Man Extreme 2, which is an awesome game. I should probably try and find some fit-in music. Is it not going to work? I thought this one would work because it's just a black cart. Let's give it a few more attempts. Hey, I typed in Mega Man. Don't give me more Donkey Kong music. It's loading. It's going to be impressively unplayable. Yes, most likely. If I can get it to work at all. It was actually Extreme 1, not Extreme 2. I hope it does work, because I love these games. And yeah, they're really, really good versions for the Game Boy as well, surprisingly. It's just cool to play Mega Man X in 8-bit style. It doesn't seem to want to do anything though, unfortunately. You heard nothing. Okay, let's try again. I wish I had a better setup so I didn't have to keep turning away from you all the time. I'll figure something out one day. I'm not getting anything though. Oh, enjoy this music though. This music's so good. Let's hear the Game Boy rendition of my favourite Mega Man X2 soundtrack. Not that one. They've got the names wrong. I don't know why it's going so slow. Oh well, this is a good song as well. Enjoy this one while I try and get this to work. I love the Game Boy sound chip as well. Yeah, it's really impressive, and obviously it still is today with the amount of people, making Game Boy music. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this game's going to work, which is very sad. Hey, here's my favourite song. Enjoy. There you go. I'll turn it on. Yeah. Something else I thought we'd try out. I've actually got all my homebrew games in this now, so we can try and pick out a few homebrew games and see what they work. This will be something really interesting. How GB Corp plays on it. Yeah, the Japanese ones were a lot easier to get hold of. Hey, we got someone new here. Hello. Sorry, the screen's a bit small. Evelyn De Boy. We should try running some tests. I've tried a few tests and... It might be a bit loud, sorry. I've tried a few tests and literally everything interesting that we've tried just results in this screen here. There isn't really much it seems to be able to do. I tried putting the exploder in, it did nothing. I tried putting in a fake cartridge. I've just now tried putting in a homebrew game and that didn't work. I'll try one more time. Yeah, this honestly seems worse than literally everything else that I've ever played Game Boy games on. It's impressive. It's impressive just how bad it really is. Again, nothing. I'll try some other homebrew games. I'll try a really old original homebrew game. Let's try this. Oh yeah, not only is the emulator impressively bad visually, but there's also zero sound as well. That's why I've got YouTube open on the other screen there. Just to give this some background music. Oh my god, we got one to work! No way. We actually got one to work. Shape It Up by Dr. Ludos. Oh, in all of like 2 frames a second. Usually this game plays smoothly, but on this emulator, yeah, this is what you're getting. I feel like the Mega Man music adds to the gameplay. I keep thinking to myself that I want to try making music again, but I just haven't got time. But hey, it's so cool that this works. So at least some homebrew stuff works on there. It might be because this was just a really simple cart that's just a 32 kilobyte one. I don't even know if you can hear the music. I was singing along to it just then. If I can get the menu back open, we can try it with less frame lag. But I can't get the menu open. There we go. So it's on frame skip of 2 at the minute. Let's put it on 0 and see how bad it is. Oh, it's like worse than playing it in slow motion. Hey, it'll make me better at the game at least. So you kind of saw how it should play. And this is the emulator attempting to play it in full speed. Oh no! It's impossible. If you thought it was bad before, oh wow. Let's try putting it in full screen as well so you can see just how bad it can look. I don't know why the full screen looks so bad. Yeah, and Comic Sans. Can this get any better? And I still don't know how to bring the menu up. I literally just mash every button. I know how to use this now. There is also this custom colour palette maker as well. So let's make some horribly garish colour scheme. I still don't really understand how to use this. There you go. Let's see. Why is that one overwriting? The other one's filled in. There we go. Lovely. We've got a really nice colour scheme here. So let's go. Oh my god, my eyes. What have I done? Why is my computer going so slow that it can't even handle playing a song on YouTube? I think this emulator is making my whole computer slow down to a crawl. This is the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, I'd assume so. I'm blind as well now, so sorry, no more streams. No more videos. Ever. That's it, I'm done. I don't think life can get any better than this. I'm tapping out while I'm ahead. It's only downhill from here. This is pretty hilarious though, honestly. Right. What else can we try? Yeah. No, I'll never financially recover from this. I'll never physically recover from this. Let's see what else we can try. I can try some more homebrew stuff. Let's try this one. I'm guessing this one won't work because it's meant to be one of the colour compatible ones. But we'll see. Oh, it did work. Cool. Actually, yeah, I don't think this one is colour compatible, actually. It just has a black cartridge. Which is naughty. Although, maybe not good. I'm pressing start and nothing's happening. So, maybe not. Let's try resetting it. See whether that makes any difference. And let's listen to someone's remix of a Mega Man Extreme 2 song. Yeah, I kind of don't like the fact that they make their carts black because it should signify that it's a color cartridge. But they don't seem to take that into account for some reason. The internet's going too slow for music. And we are not getting any signal now, so weird that the title screen came up and then nothing. Okay, we got it back again. Hey, it worked this time. It's definitely missing a few frames though. Some people still do. Studio Loading, I had him on my podcast recently and he made sure that the game was the right color cartridge for the system. Oh, I need some sort of music on. It's too weird being silent with just me talking. I am planning to do a video on it soon, actually. I've got it here on the table. So we can try this out on here, actually, see whether it works or not. And yes, it is a Game Boy Color compatible game, and he did use a black cartridge, which is really cool. So I appreciate the attention to detail there. Let's give it a try. This is the first time that I'm ever putting this cartridge into anything, so I'm sure he will be very pleased to know that the first time this game is getting played is on the game booster for the PlayStation 1. Hey, we've got something. We've got a white box. Doesn't look promising. Let's try again. Probably not the best first impression. I don't think we'll be able to anyway. We're just getting a white square. Let's try another one. Let's try one of the Ferrante Crafts carts because I know they're high quality. Let's see whether that does anything. Game booster. You don't say. It's not endorsed by Nintendo. No way. I thought they would have licensed this themselves. Doesn't look like we're getting anything for this one either. I really want to try and find my Game Boy camera. I think that'd be so fun to see whether that works on here, but I don't know where it is. Ah. I've even tidied up so there's not really even anywhere. There's not really anywhere to look. So I don't know what could have happened to it. I haven't seen it. And I didn't see it while I was tidying up the other day either. It's just vanished into thin air. So, yeah, it looks basically like the only things that this can actually do is just mostly just normal classic Game Boy games and very, very specific homebrew games if they used a certain type of cartridge by the looks of it. Hey, Tom Sutton's here. Hey, Tom. We are having a great time with this. It is this here called the Game Booster, which apparently lets you play Game Boy games on the PlayStation, but not many that I've actually attempted seem to really do anything. And it also comes with this built-in game called Rebound Mission, which is a very simple... I'll show you. It's basically a really simple, not even a breakout style game. You literally just have to get the ball into that thing at the top of the screen. And then it moves on to the next level. That's it. And then you go on to level 2. And you have to watch for the ball bouncing back down because sometimes it can hit you. But it is a bit weird. I'm a bit confused why this one's not working because it should be. It's really weird just in the design of it itself. Have a look. It goes in the back of the PlayStation like that. It slots into one of them extension ports. And there's nothing... Oh, well, I did have a CD in there, but You don't need anything in there. Although it doesn't seem to be doing anything, and I was focused on the fan. I'm sorry. This is not the best camera work. I bought a new tripod to put the camera on the table, but it's not really working that well yet. And now I can't seem to get any games to play. It's just going back to this menu. I'll try Marble Madness, because I tried that one before. Oh my god, yes. What about if the CD was causing all these issues? I had the CD in there because for some reason it also has a CD player function. What? Marble Madness isn't even working now. It was working earlier. As we've taken it out, I can show you what it looks like in a bit more detail, I guess. There you go. So there's the slot that goes into the PlayStation. And it has this really cheap label that's actually losing its stick. So I'm a bit worried about that. And then that's where the game goes. It's very, very cheaply made plastic. And it has that funky design on the back there. And yeah, you just put the game in there. The slot's a bit weird as well. You can kind of see how it's very close to the front there. So you sort of have to force the cartridge in front of that. And then you just put that in the back of the PlayStation. In that extension bit. Do you know of anything else that uses that extension part of the PlayStation? I've never seen it used for anything. Hey, it worked. We got Marble Madness. Oh yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the colours sometimes, but as you can see, I don't think the connection is too good. Oh my god, this is going to be impossible to play with these. With this frame rate. Hey, I'm doing okay. Can I actually finish a level? The whole thing's gone purple now. Yeah, maybe Game Shark on the PlayStation uses it. I still have no idea how to open the menu. Oh my god, it's all purple now. Hey, it's cleared itself up. These borders didn't seem to make any difference. Oh, okay. That one's the paint bucket. Okay. Apparently, if I wiggle it a bit, the colour might come back. That's a good sign. I expect this whole thing just to explode at any minute. Okay, border 1 is like a TV style. That's pretty cool. I still have no clue how to open the menu. There's nothing about it in the instructions either. And it just randomly comes up. Maybe you just have to leave the controller alone. So there's only 2 different borders. Video sync doesn't seem to make any difference at all. Maybe it makes it a bit slower actually, I guess, because it's trying to match the scan lines all the way across the image. But yeah, wow, this is a painful emulator. At least the version for the PS2 ran at full speed. Even if, from what I remember, the sound was completely broken on that one. But then again, this one doesn't even have any sound. And I find it kind of weird that Game Boy and Game Boy Color compatible games don't seem to work on this either. Hey, surprisingly, I'm actually doing okay considering I'm playing this on OBS, so there's already a delay based on the screen back there. Whee. The removal of the parallel port was probably partly because no official add-on had ever been released for it, and it was being used to connect cheat cartridges. Yep. I didn't really know what they were thinking with that parallel port in the first place. Yeah, I'm glad I do have an original model that has the option at least. And I've actually had this Game Boy device for the PS1 for a long time, but the actual PS1 console was somewhere in storage in the back of the garage, And while I was in there yesterday, I managed to find it. So I thought I would finally give it a go. And it lived up to all my expectations, I have to say. My expectations have not only been met, they've been greatly exceeded by this absolute masterpiece of gameplay. There was a link cable for PSX consoles. No way. Like a LAN mode before broadband adapters were a thing. That's really cool, actually. I wonder what games use that. It might make sense for like Doom or something to have a local deathmatch. No way. I want to find out what that is now. That's really cool. Yeah, I had no idea about that. I want to try and do that on the GameCube as well, because I know the you can connect GameCube systems up using the broadband adapter to play a special mode in Mario Kart. Yeah, maybe Warcraft. That might work. Some sort of RTS or some sort of deathmatch shooter, maybe. I don't have enough speed. Go! I can't get up there. I can't get up. I haven't played Doom on the PS1, but apparently it's a really good port as well. Is the screen getting wavier? I feel like I'm having some weird nightmare or something. Oh, I can't get anywhere. I literally can't get anywhere. What is the point of this section? I'm completely stuck. Oh, no, somehow I made it. And the finish is right there. Yeah, why is the screen like doing a Mexican wave? Did I make it? Without any sound effects, I don't know whether I ran out of time or whether I got to the end. We did it. I'm actually getting surprisingly far in this. I think I might actually have Doom for the PS1, but I don't know whether I've ever played it. Maybe I'll have a look after, considering I've got the PS1 out. Oh my god, I can't get past this either. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Can you guys hear that? Is that to make up for the lack of sound on this stream? I'm sorry. I tried to put in YouTube on, but it was being really laggy. Let's try again. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's try this. There you go. I need to put some more stuff on that channel points thing. This is the soundtrack to me slowly going insane playing these Game Boy games. On this awful, on this hilariously awful way of playing them. Whenever you hear Kirby now, you're going to think of me going insane playing PS1 games, playing Game Boy games on the PS1. Right, let's see what else we can play. I've got my folder of games here. Let's try this one. Maybe I should have found Kirby. Is this going to work? Try and Balloon Trip. Or Balloon Kid. No! Hey, it's working. Slowly. It is a bit of a trip with all those wavy lines going down the screen. Dun, 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 dun. The Kirby music kind of fits this game, actually. Oh yeah, I forgot the buttons are reversed as well. Oh no. I don't know how I'm going to do this without bubbles. Yeah, thank you, Daytel. You've given me nightmares for the next week. I wonder if they still make any weird things like this. I threw the balloons away, I can't really do much. Look at that building that's shaped like a pencil. How fun. I'm going insane. How have I subjected myself to this for over an hour already? I remember this game being more fun than this. What am I going to do? Let's make it full screen. And up the frame rate a bit, make it a bit faster. Oh no! We lost signal for a second. Oh my god, look at how horrible that is. It's actually disgusting. Let's see if we can keep hold of our balloons a bit longer. Why does that sound slower than I remember? It is. It's the forbidden fruit of the Game Boy world. Oh no! I don't know whether I could torment myself that much. Castlevania Adventure on this. That would be the ultimate torture. Oh my god. It makes this easy at least. Going at this speed. I don't know how much longer I can take. I don't even think there's anything else for me to try out, really. Okay. It might take me a while to find it, but I'll try and find Castlevania. Hopefully it's in that binder that I've got. Okay, this just goes on forever at this speed. Yay, I got a heart too. Okay, let's see whether I can find Castlevania. And you can enjoy some Kirby music in the meantime. No. Right, it wasn't there. I've got another crate of games here. Let's have a look through these. Can you still hear Kirby? I'll turn it off a bit. We've got it. Are you ready for the ultimate torture? I've found the ultimate torture device right here. I'm scared. I'm scared. Let's stop the Kirby music. Hey, I said stop the Kirby music. Where's it come back? Have we not got anything? I'm trying to find some Castlevania Game Boy music instead. Right, let's give it a few more attempts. Game Boy on the PlayStation. Okay. You asked, I've got to show it now. Here you go. Game Boy on the PlayStation. It basically plugs into the serial port on the back of the console. I have not got my camera set up very well for this. There you go. Can you see anything? There you go, like that. The forbidden way of playing Game Boy games, and it's really horrible as well. And look at the screen, it's getting worse and worse every time I turn it on. Why is it bright purple now? It wasn't purple like an hour ago. It also has a really bad build quality as well. So I'm having to put the games in and out like 5 times before anything even happens. Let's turn that down a bit. Sick gadget. Yeah, sick in the literal sense. It's making me feel sick. And it doesn't load. This is like some weird built-in game that it comes with. Well, I guess I can show you this. It's really horrible. And look how the screen sort of wobbles as well. Normal PlayStation stuff doesn't do this. So this is the built-in game. You basically just have to get that ball and that thing at the top. That's it. That's the whole game. But I am curious as to whether this actually exists, like, on a Game Boy cartridge that Daytel released separately, because I do have a bunch of unlicensed Daytel games as well, which they did release separately. And I know some of these came on their PS2 version of this. But I've never seen this one before anywhere, so it's really interesting to see this, even if it is a bit rubbish. I really wanted to get Castlevania to work so you can see just how bad it is. I'm going to put on the music from Castlevania 2, actually, if I can see the screen. Because the music on number 2 is way better. And it will help pass the time a little bit while I try and get this working. We've done a whole bunch of tests on what works and what doesn't, and it doesn't seem promising. Like 90% of the interesting stuff we've tried just fails to load at all. But I'll keep trying. Maybe we'll get somewhere with it. In the meantime, I'll put on some Castlevania 2 music that you guys can listen to. Which is a much better game in every sense of the word compared to the first one. But let's try a few more attempts. Is it loading? There you go. It might be the next track that's a good one, but there you go. There's some nice ambience while I get this working. Maybe Castlevania's a no-go. It knows just how torturous it'll be for me, so it's actually refusing to play. I'll see whether I can find Castlevania. I do have Castlevania 2 right here as well, so... Ah, here you go. Here's the good music. Enjoy this one. See if I can turn it up a little bit. Everything's so laggy when I've got OBS running. I guess I can show you how it works. So it's not a memory card or a controller. So normal PlayStation, it actually goes in this slot here, in this expansion port slot at the back. I've never seen anything go in there before, but there you go. That's how it fits in. And you don't need anything in the disk drive either, which is really interesting. It's literally just that on the back, and then you just put a Game Boy cartridge in like that. And sometimes it plays them, sometimes it doesn't. Just depends on how it's feeling. But yeah, neither of the Castlevania games seemed like they were going to work. But we'll try again. Ha, yeah. That's one good point. I wonder how much the startup discs would go for if it's anything like the Game Boy. Right, yeah, that one's just not loading. Let's try this one again, because I know this game worked before, so... It'll be interesting to see just whether it's really temperamental, or whether there's certain games that just don't run at all, for no good reason. Maybe it's just really temperamental, because it's not even loading Balloon Kid, which worked fine earlier. Maybe it's just surprised to actually be used. I got this brand new, it had never even been opened out of its box before. But yeah, it just seems like it's just given up. It's just given up on life. To be honest, so have I at this point. Oh well. There is one other thing I can show you on here. If we stop the music. And somehow get the game menu to load. I'm not really sure how to get this to come up. We've been through all this now. I didn't try cheats, but I'm sure you can imagine how the cheats work. There's some inbuilt ones too. So, I think it's basically just an exploder or a game shark or whatever. So you can just go through the list of games. Maybe this is actually a list of games that work, because I know Donkey Kong worked. We tried that one earlier. So yeah. It doesn't seem like it's every game, so maybe... There's Marble Madness as well, that one worked. So maybe it is just these games in particular. Let's try a few other random ones I've got in this box. Maybe it doesn't like me keep switching it on and off as well. That might be adding to the massive list of issues that this thing's got. Now it doesn't want to turn back on. It didn't come on at all then, I just had the regular PlayStation menu. It's definitely upset with me. It wants to go back in its box. Into its coffin. Yeah, this is just the regular PlayStation menu. Except it's bright pink for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Let's see whether we can fix this. Alright, well, we got this loaded back up. Somehow. It doesn't want to load the game, though. I tried putting in a different game again. Oh my god, I feel sorry for any kid who had this, like as a birthday or Christmas present or something. And it's so awkward to use. Anyway, the only thing that I've got left to show is the CD player, so for some reason it lets you play music CDs. I got one off the shelf earlier just to test it out, and there doesn't really seem to be any point in doing this because it can play... The PlayStation 1 can play CDs anyway, right? As far as I know. I'll put a disc in. There's really nothing special, it just plays the music. Speed might be interesting though. See whether it like plays in fast forward or something. Although I can't hear anything. And the screen is flickering like mad. Okay. You can hear something. Really quiet. The audio's really bad. When am I starting my retro game and game design podcast? I started it about a year ago. There's 27 episodes out now. I released one last week with John Rue from Retro Room, which was really cool. Yeah, I've only done a few guest episodes so far. I've got a few interesting people lined up. No, you didn't know about it? It's everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. It's even on YouTube as well now they've got the podcast option. I'll send you a link after. Anyway, let's see what options we've got here. Yeah, I'll send you a link. Double speed. Oh my god, if you want... Double speed. Oh, sorry. I bet that was really loud, I just realised the audio was doubling up. There we go. Enjoy some Deco 27. Picked it up in Japan. Yeah, I don't know why you would want to listen to it in double speed. That's all there is to the CD player. And that's pretty much everything that I've got to show you with this. And the screen is getting more and more wobbly as time goes on. Anyway, I'll probably call it a night because we were going to go and play Resident Evil 4. So I would kind of prefer doing that over playing this. But thanks everyone for coming along and checking out this super weird game booster with me. I don't know whether I'm going to make a video on it or not. Probably not. But it was definitely interesting to have a look at. And yeah, thank you. I definitely will go and enjoy it. Alright, see you all again soon. And I'll try and stream a bit sooner than 2 weeks next time. So hopefully you'll see me again soon. Alright, bye everyone. Have a good evening.